In news that should surprise absolutely nobody, Activision Blizzard, by far one of the greediest and most corrupt video game publishers in the nation, is joining 2K Games in charging $70 for next-generation games. Yes, in a year of mass unemployment, financial devastation, and a looming depression, Activision is the latest company to decide now is the time to start asking for more money. Now, because Activision Blizzard is disgustingly cowardly, it didn't actually announce this news, it tucked it away in the back of an existing blog post full of marketing. And because Activision is Activision and will always find a way to needle an extra few dollars out of someone, if you buy the standard edition of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Activision will want an additional $10 charge in order for you to upgrade that version to the PS5 and Xbox Series X version. This is in contrast to other companies who have confirmed that they will just, let you upgrade the bloody game you bought. Now, the game industry, spineless as it is, has been pretty coy about whether or not $70 will be the standard price for the next generation of consoles. Call of Duty Black Ops will join NBA 2K21 in charging $69.99 for a standard priced game, but neither company is forthcoming about whether they're going to make that a standard across all their titles, because they're cowards. One assumes the game industry is hoping to do what it likes to do, which is gradually introduce this stuff, normalize it, get us all used to it, before taking the piss and engaging in massive price hikes and other questionable business practices en masse. We've seen this with microtransactions in full-priced games, we've seen this with DLC overall, we've seen this with the loot boxes. The industry starts with one or two, floating a few pilots out there just to see how far it can take something. And then once all of the game publishers realise how far something can be taken, they will not be able to rush to take it there fast blood enough. So seeing 2K Games and Activision dancing around the issue of the price hike, introducing it without fanfare, sneaking it into announcements, pretending that they don't know if they want to start charging $70 as standard, fuck off, you're not fooling anyone. This is stuff I've seen the industry do for years. This is a classic straight from the playbook. Fact is, these companies have already decided what the standard is. They're just in the process of convincing us all that it's normal and cool and okay and fine and dandy and justified. And it's not justified, by the way. I know some people are already lining up to do the usual litany of excuses. Games are so expensive to make. Inflation. Games never raise their prices. You know, the same arguments that have come from people who have spent years fucking ignoring everything I've said to quite effectively and efficiently refute those bullshit excuses. And I won't go through all the usual counterpoints, you know them all by now. $60 is a shell price. They already made that money up in the amount of extras they sell and the content they've carved out to resell. But if we want to focus on Activision specifically, there's no justification, because I can point at several key areas in which Activision could move money from inefficient places of their business toward game development, so they don't need to charge $70 per game. And they don't need to fill their games with exploitative microtransactions. I mean, for example, they could just stop giving Bobby Kotick money. They don't have to give him $40 million a year on top of the billions of dollars he already has. I mean, he is listed as one of America's most overpaid CEOs in any business, so I'm looking at the potential here for wild savings. I mean, let's face it, right? Bobby Kotick, again, is a billionaire. He has already won the game. He has won the game of capitalism. He could personally, out of his pocket, fund the $10 for everyone who's gonna buy Call of Duty Black Ops, and he'd still basically be exactly as rich as he is now. I mean, that's the sheer scale of wealth we talk about when we talk about billionaires. He's so rich, the law is actually designed to protect him. Bobby Kotick could probably buy the full game for everyone who's gonna buy it, and he won't suffer. Like, not at all? And when it comes to executives and the amount of money they make, you could also knock the idea of incentives on the head, like just giving a new executive millions of dollars for taking the job you're offering them. Because to most, normal people, the incentive to take a job is to work and earn money and not fucking die. It seems to me to speak of an extraordinary amount of inequality. Look, we have people losing jobs left, right and centre and desperately struggling to find work, while we have a class of people so wealthy, getting a job literally isn't worth it if they don't also receive a present for allowing themselves to be hired. In fact, I don't think I'd want to hire anybody who wouldn't consider working for me if I didn't just give them millions of dollars up front. That doesn't sound to me like someone who's particularly bloody motivated. You could stand to reduce the amount of money you're giving your executives overall, considering pay inequality is a massive problem at Activision. Although if you were to reduce the amount of money flowing upwards to executives, it would probably be better if you gave it to some of your other employees, such as the ones who are not paid enough to even be able to afford food at Activision's very own company cafeteria. These are a few items that are always conveniently ignored by pundits and mouthpieces and analysts and commenters and journalists, the ones that go to bat for the game industry when they defend high prices and excessive monetization. It's that bubbled thinking that I've exasperatedly criticized in the past. They'll tell you all day long about how expensive game development is. They'll tell you all day long about how we all did this with our demand for beautiful graphics, which, by the way, is not something the Call of Duty series has ever pushed. They'll say we want games to be bigger and more beautiful than ever, and therefore they're more expensive than ever, and therefore they have to have microtransactions in them that play on people's addictions and exploit them and prey upon them and swindle money out of them. But they never tie that to the sheer amount of wealth, the sheer volume of fortune that is in a company like Activision Blizzard, and the shady, dodgy, borderline unethical places that wealth actually filters to. And pay some tax, Activision, you fucking parasites! I won't even begin to entertain the idea that Activision needs to charge $70 a game until I stop paying Activision's tax refund. The refund for tax that Activision didn't fucking pay. Oh yes, it's that point in the video where we mention that Activision pays no taxes on the shit it sells, and yet we're always paying a refund for it. All because Activision on paper operates out of a basement in Holland. So I'll tell you what, right? Anyone who wants to defend the $70 price point, I will begin, and when I say begin, I mean begin, to take anything you've got to say on the matter seriously once I stop paying corporate welfare to Activision Blizzard. Until Activision actually pays its fucking dues, I won't hear of it. I won't hear about how it needs to make any extra money. And even then, even when I begin to quasi-seriously entertain your arguments, you've still got to get over the pay inequality. The various policies that have been put in place to make Bobby Kotick so rich that even Activision shareholders have started to question them. You'll have to explain to me why executives get millions and millions of dollars for doing nothing, while there are veterans at Activision who are earning less now than they did 10 years ago. So I'll tell you what, right? When I'm not subsidizing Activision, and when Activision starts actually paying people properly, and stop finding ways to enrich its executives for doing no work, when it stops trying to give the wealthiest people in the company bonuses on top of bonuses that have been given so recently that they haven't even yielded results yet, then, and only then, will I start seriously entertaining the idea that a company like Activision Blizzard could even begin to try to justify this price hike. Until then, I refuse to believe that I should pay extra to help Activision out when, well, any taxpayer is doing that every year all fucking ready.